Shalom UncleK. Peace be upon you. Hallelujah. All praises to the Most High Yahuwah, through His Son Yahushua HaMashiach. It's your brother, UncleK, and we're back with another one. I hope you're having a Baruch day, and I hope right now you have a sound mind and a sound heart. Now, before we get into the content, like the content, share the content, and comment down below. And if you're not a supporter, become a supporter right now. I just advise you to tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. So let's get into it. The man must be prepared at all times. The man must be aware of what is taking place. Right? It's very pivotal for a man to stand on faith, and his faith must be on a foundation that can't be shaken and can't be moved. Right? Because when you get on this walk, when you choose the Most High Yah, you choose Yahuwah, and you choose Yahushua HaMashiach as your head, you must realize that you are going against the adversary. Right? And for the man that finds the practice of semen retention, he must get edified first on spiritual matters before he starts involving himself in spiritual matters. See, this man, his mind must be established with these laws, statutes, and these commandments and the ways of the Most High before he thinks that he can start practicing something that, when you look at it from a deep lens, it is spiritual, because it is you putting away sexual immorality. Right? See, on this platform, we don't talk about NoFap, and then you out here being a whoremonger. Right? Just because you put away masturbation, you still out here being a whoremonger. Right? We don't promote that. We promote abstaining so you could be more in favor with the Most High. Right? So you can have more protection. So you could be going towards your vision and your goals, married or not married. Right? Semen retention is a pivotal thing for a man to live out, because we know that sex is used as a form of ignorance. Either way, if it's used for love or recreational, right? That is the last level. Right? Procreation is the lowest level. Right? Because a lot of iniquities can creep in. That's why when you realize and you have it locked in your mind that it's meant for procreation, it has to be just for procreation. Right? And you realize that sometimes it may have a ripple effect when you do it not for procreation. Right? You want more, you want more, you want more and more and more. Right? Because you did it without purpose. Right? Now, the man must walk with faith, because when you choose the Most High Yahuwah, you are going against principalities and wicked things in high places. You're going against the adversary. So by you increasing in strength, a lot of things is going to be pushed away. Right? By you putting away iniquities, a lot of things is going to be pushed to the forefront. Right? A lot of these agents out here that's promoting lust, a lot of these witches, a lot of these warlocks, a lot of these individuals that got the adversary on their right hand, that's telling them to do certain things or to come out and be stumbling blocks. These things is going to be pushed to you. And a lot of times people may think that they're being idle, but there's no way that you could be idle when you have your mind set on things that are Shamayim, when you have things set on the heavens, when you have things set on your mind that you want to be better at and you want to improve on. That's not you being idle-minded. And a lot of times people be thinking that the reason why certain conflicts and things happen is because they was idle. But they weren't idle when they think about it. Right? Were you idle when you were studying and examining yourself? No, you weren't idle because you were active mentally. You weren't reprobated. So when you realize a lot of these things are attacks, and you got to realize when you're being attacked, right? That's why you're supposed to resist the devil and he will flee, right? You go after the Most High, he will come after you. right? You seek him, he will come to you, right? That's the reason why a lot of these things happen. So don't think in your mind that you gotta be always physically active, running around, doing this, that, and the third, right? There's a lot of things you could do mentally as well too to sharpen yourself, right? A lot of activities, a lot of content out there that can stimulate your mind in the right aspect, where you're not excreting a lot of dopamine and wasting it by looking on the screen and looking at, loose clothing women or anything of debauchery, anything that's filthy. You're not wasting your time watching these things, right? So you can learn a lot on this internet, man. We live in a time right now where you can still go to the library or you can get information on the phone. And I suggest not to get the 15 second type of information, right? A lot of videos that got good information, sometimes, man, they be 28 minutes, 30 minutes, and you just got to sit through and watch it like it's a seminar if you're really trying to get the information and get the lesson broken down to you, right? So with that being said, man, the man, he has to realize that he's in war, right? You're in war right now. And when you get on this practice, when you start living this lifestyle, you're at war with a lot of people. You're at war with the adversary, and the adversary uses a lot of people, and a lot of people has picked the side of the adversary. So you have a lot of enemies, man. And it's the reason why when you are minding your business and you going about your business, it's the reason why so many temptations be trying to, bombard you. When you go to the grocery store, it be a plethora of women just, showcasing so much to you and giving you all these eyes and looking at you with them extended eyelashes and lipstick and makeup on, and it's a reason why those things happen, right? It's because the adversary is trying to bring you in, right? He's trying to tempt you. But when you resist, they flee. That's why a man shouldn't be solely focused on the things that's occurring to him on this journey, right? He should be in the inward part of the man, feeling that power, feeling that ruach in him that's just ready to push and grind and thrive, and you feeling so full of strength, and you feeling so enthused about life now. You're feeling so enthused about the scriptures. You're feeling so enthused about continue to walk this walk, and you're not ready to fold it up, right? We only fold at the laundromat. We wash up, we put in the dryer, some shirts, we hang it up on a hanger, we let it air dry, and a lot of other fabrics, we just fold it up, right? But the adversary, he wants you to fold up, right? That's why you got to make sure that you steadfast. You gotta realize an attack, right? You got to realize an attack rather than you thinking that you're being idle. And that's why when you feel like you gotta always have your foot on the gas, run into this destination, it's a reason why you burn out, right? It's a reason why you burn out, and then you like, oh, I need to sit down and I need to cool off. And then when you sit down and cool off, that's the time and the moment that you become idle, because you're not looking for the information no more. You're not looking you're not trying to obtain knowledge, right? Wisdom is given. Knowledge is something you got to seek as well too, right? A lot of people don't know how to do certain things, and that's why you go and seek the knowledge so you can learn how to do something. And I think a lot of us, we need to constantly be looking at knowledge and looking how to do certain things, learning how to, if you're making music, learn how to mix and master much better. Learn how to design something better, right? If you are an artist and you like to draw, learn how to draw a little better, right? It's just little avenues like that. If you want to learn how to, build something, you learn how to build, you learn about the tools that you need to build something. If you're trying to build your body, you learning about supplements, you learning about different angles on how to hit the weights with the free weights, the barbells and the dumbbells. You always after knowledge and trying to learn how to do something that's a part of your repertoire that you're trying to sharpen, right? But when you feel as though that you running after things because you feel as though that if you're not doing that, you're idle, you got it mixed up, right? Because then when you burn out physically, you burn out mentally too. So that's when the adversary could creep in and then he could attack you way more. and then you don't have anything to lean on because you're just sitting there, numb. So we gotta pay attention to that, because the adversary, he knows our past, but he doesn't know our future. Right? That's why the Most High, he saw our iniquities in the past. We came to him, we got forgiven. He tossed them so far away from us, and he's the one guiding us to the future. The only thing that the adversary knows is the past. He doesn't know our future. He knows his future. Right? So he will tempt you with certain things of your past, right? You used to smoke weed, people gonna be smoking weed around you. You used to drink a little alcohol, people gonna be drinking alcohol. You was into, certain type of women, he gonna try to push more women attraction to you. You know what I'm saying? And my whole thing is, when you are set apart, man, you gotta realize that there's no way that women that's not set apart, that look real loose, is actually interested in you, right? When you see that, you know that is an attack, that is a test, right? Because there's no way that these type of women want to cling onto the garments of a man of Yashrael, right? They just want to, come in and clean house and then run with it, right? So that's a test, right? A set apart woman, she's gonna look real submissive, she's gonna look real modest, right? She's either gonna confess with her mouth that she wants to be better spiritually, and you're going to test her and put her through those trials and those tribulations, right? You're going to purify her vessel before y'all even think about, getting in an engagement and locking it in and, becoming having a covenant, right? So when you see these little things like that, that's when you know that it's an attack, right? And these attacks is minuscule when you're actually on a mission. Right, and you gotta make sure that you're able to identify it, because if you're not able to identify it, then you're gonna be tossing to and fro, and you're gonna be shaking, like it's 10 below. You're gonna be shaking like somebody threw some cold water on you, and it's 10 below, and you shaking, you shivering, you can't sleep, you can't relax. That's those type of attacks, because you haven't been sitting on your faith. You haven't been seeking after knowledge, keeping your mind active, because the Most High is watching us, right? He has his eyes upon the righteous and the wicked, right? Sun up till sundown, he got his eyes on everything, right? He's watching us right now. And we got to make sure that we got our minds and our hearts set on him, right? No one said this walk is going to be easy. But don't get on this walk and then start making excuses because it's getting difficult, right? The only reason why it's getting difficult is because you're not after the things that you're supposed to be after, right? You're not after knowledge. You're not after wisdom. You're not chasing after the Most High, right? You're not resisting, right? You gotta resist. You gotta resist. Imagine this, right, fellas? Let me give y'all a little breakdown, right? If someone is pulling you in a direction, right, where you don't want to go, and you know that you have enough strength to move away to the other area, right? It's resistance, right? You could push away, right? It's like a man that's on a bench press and he's pushing 225, he's pushing 255, he's pushing 280, he's pushing 315. That is a form of resistance, right? So you're not gonna let that bar drop on your chest, right, and break your chest, the bones and everything, your rib cage. You're not gonna allow that, right? You're gonna push that weight off you, right? That's the aspect, man. Someone at a club, talking about, come on, man, let's go to the club, right? Let's go drink. And you like, nah, man, I gotta go home. And that person's pulling at your garments. You gonna pull away from him and be like, hey, yo, get off me, right? That's how you resist the devil, right? He flees, right? There's no way that we should be allowing, these little things to hinder our progress unless if we're not moving forward, right? There's a lot of things that get broken in our lives that wasn't meant to be, right? Financial things happen, living situation happen, vehicles may break down once in a while, little things may happen. You may go through a slight famine, for maybe like a week, just because, that check wasn't as thick as you wanted it to be. So you can't buy the foods that you need to buy, right? It's certain situations, there's certain attacks that we go through, but we rely on the Most High, right? So if you got, say for instance, all right, you got $50 to spend on food this week, and you know you normally go and buy fresh beef, you go buy fresh veggies, you go buy fresh stuff. Hey, if it's tough this week, listen, if you used to spending 100, 150, 120 or whatnot on food and you only got 50, then guess what? You're gonna have to get some canned food and you're gonna have to say, y'all bless it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a part of your faith. What you gonna do? You gonna be mad? You gonna struggle, or and wrestle and just act ungrateful? Nah, you gonna still be grateful and be like, you know what? I gotta do what I gotta do. Let me go get those Vienna sausages, 10 grams of protein per can. It only running you like 33 cents, something like that, right? Yeah, it's an odd price. I don't know why they got it 33 cents now. It used to be like buy 5 for $1. They're going crazy, even with the oodles and noodles, the little ramen noodles. You feel what I'm saying? So, hey, if you gotta do that every once in a while, then you gotta do that, man. It's all about faith, right? You're not gonna let the adversary come in and break down everything you got after you've been building on a foundation that can't be shaken and moved. You can't sweep that foundation off and then the whole house fall down. You know what I'm saying? You gotta stay strong, right? So, for 1 second, don't pay attention to none of these bros out here. None of these soft dudes out here that be trying to, try to act like they could, poke at your armor or whatnot. Listen, those are all little small tests and it don't hold no weight, right? If you're not giving in to their advances, they're gonna flee, they're gonna run. And they're gonna go after the other dude and the other dude and the other dude, right? You just continue to stay steadfast, man. All right? Shalom Elohim. Peace be upon you. Hallelujah. All praises to the Most High Yah. Through his son, Yahushua HaMashiach. It's your brother, UncleK. Appreciate y'all for tapping into another one. Like, share, comment down below. And if you're not a supporter, become a supporter right now. I just advise you to tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Hope you guys continue to have a Baruch day. Keep a sound mind and a sound heart. And I'll see you soon, Most High willing. But for now, peace.